The following program may contain strong language and mature content. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey. Welcome back to It's Just Kim. I'm so happy to be here today. I'm really excited. Today is going to be a really good day, a really good show. I have someone very special to me. I told you guys the last time we were together that I had someone who was going to be joining me today to finish up that great conversation that we had last time on what I've learned in 37 years of marriage. Yes, 37, child, 37 years of marriage. Now, that may seem like a lot for some, and not so much for others, but you know what, it's my 37 years, and so I'm just excited, I mean hippopotamus happy to do this show today. But before we get started with the show, because I want to get right into it, I want to go ahead and do mantra time. Yes, it's mantra time. Mantra time. Why do we do this? We do this because this is a early Friday morning show. And for some, Friday is the beginning of their weekend. For others, it's not. But we've had a long, busy, hectic week, and we've been working and taking care of the children and taking care of each other, taking care of ourselves, I hope. And we just want to just take some deep breaths and speak some really kind words to ourselves, because guess what? We deserve it. So let's get going. So, the first thing I want us to know is that it is okay. Just say that with me. It is okay. And let me tell you what it's okay. It's okay that you don't know everything. It's okay not to know everything. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be yourself. I love being me, and I haven't always loved being me, but I just love being Kim. I love who I am, who I have become, who I am becoming. I love her. It's okay to ask for help. Yes, sometimes we get in that position where we don't think we should ask for help, or we feel embarrassed, or we don't feel like we deserve help from others. But it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to have bad days. You're just going to do that. It's okay to start over. It's okay to set boundaries. Come on, say it with me. Boundaries. Boundaries are good for you and the folks that you deal with. It's okay to be less than perfect, because none of us are perfect. None but Christ are perfect. We are not perfect. We're striving for perfection in our own way, but we are not perfect beings. And then it's okay to say no. It's okay to do what's best for you sometimes. And then it's okay to not be okay. But just don't stay not okay for a long time. Do whatever it takes to get that together. Okay, so now let's move to the next thing. I want you to know that you are loved, that you are worthy, that your feelings, they are valid. Yes, your feelings are valid too. And the last thing I want you to know is that you are enough. You're enough. You know what? And then the other thing, blessed. You're blessed. We're going to add that to it. You are blessed. So let's go ahead and take some deep breaths because we want to be relaxed and we just want to enjoy ourselves as we begin our conversation today. So let's go ahead and take that deep breath in through your nose. That felt good. Let's do it again. Let's do it one more time. It feels so good. Mm. Okay, I don't know about you, but I'm ready now. I'm ready. I'm ready to get this show started. What I have learned in 37 years. And I'm going to bring my honey, my husband, my friend, my lover, my co parent. We're not co parenting because we're still together, but we parent together. Just my ride or die, my partner that I laugh and joke with and get mad at and fuss at and help and take care of, all those things. I'm going to bring him in here today. I'm going to bring in none other than my love, Bishop William Todd Irvin. Hey.
Hey.
There he is. There's the man.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
The man with the plan. All right. So we have been married for 30, is it 37 years? I could be lying.
38.
It's 37 years and it's going on 38. Ooh,
time flies.
We too young for all that, right? Not really. But we definitely have had our challenges in our marriage. We've had many challenges.
Yes.
But you know what? We stood up to the challenges. We met the challenges. We believed in God. We did whatever it took to meet the challenge and overcome it.
Indeed.
And so we've been to therapy. We've read books. We've talked to people. We've made presentations. We've had people talk to us. We've separated inside the house. You go to your corner, I go to mine.
Amen.
We've done everything that we could to continue and make this marriage stay together.
Right.
Okay. We've been trying to keep this together for the last, honestly, longer than 37 years because we dated for a while before we got married. We've been knowing each other for a very long time. And so it's just good to know that, you know what, if you try, if you give it your all the effort that you have, if you give it your 150%, because that's what it takes to keep a marriage together. It's not 100%, it's 150. And it's not a 50-50 situation. Because guess what? 50, and if I only give 50, I'm only giving half of me. I need to give 100%, my 100%. He gives his 100%. And then that's what keeps us going, is the fact that I'm giving it my all and he's giving it his all. So last time I talked to you guys about some things that I had learned in 37 years of marriage. And I'll just quickly go over them. First of all, I said that most issues, problems in marriage are fixable, most, right? And then I did say I don't advocate violence or any type of abuse. So if you're in an abusive situation, I'm not telling you that can be fixed. Maybe it can, I don't know, but I'm not advocating for that. So please know that. And everything that's fixable for me, for us, is not always fixable for everybody.
That's true.
So keep that in mind too. Then don't use that D word. What is the D word? Divorce. But I said you should use what? The F word. And you guys took it wrong. But the F word is frustrated. Let your partner know I'm frustrated. Right. Not I want a divorce because you're mad or you're upset, you're disappointed. But the F word, I'm frustrated. What can we do to fix this? I also said that I've learned in 37 years that it is not the truth. People say that folks don't change. That is not the truth. People change. And I talked about how I changed. I'm not the same Kim that I was 37 years ago. Thank the Lord. That would make me a little slow because there are so many things that I've learned in this life and I've matured. People mature, people get better, people see the light. So it's not true that people don't change. Now, some people don't because they don't want to. But if you're working with somebody who wants to change, then hey, let's do this. You are not your parents' marriage. We learned that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have commentary for that. We'll wait.
He's going to talk about that. Sometimes, and I made a confession. I made a confession that sometimes I'm hard to deal with, to live with. Ooh. Yeah, it was hard for me to don't go there, okay?
Never.
Lies you tell. I talked about working on me. I got to work on me, and I'm always constantly working on me as it relates to our marriage. I talked about marriage is work. That's something we know. This was something really good that I learned, that our commitment has been our saving grace. It's the thing that has kept us together, is the fact that we really and truly believed in the commitment that we made to one another. And I'm not knocking people who had to get out of really toxic, bad relationships. No judgment here. But what I'm saying, for us, the commitment that we made is what kept us together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We dug into that. We've learned how to give each other space. You go to the west, I'll go to the east. You go to the north, I'll go to the south of the house, of the area, of the neighborhood, of the mall, whatever. But we've learned how to not just be clingy and give each other the space that we need. Some days he'll go and do his thing, and some days I'll go and do my thing, and then maybe we'll meet up later or maybe we won't. But we've learned how to give each other our space. And the last thing I talked about was learning how to, and I'm really still learning this, always being the one to be the first to apologize, be vulnerable, and yield. And so those are things that I've learned. I'm still learning. I'm still making progress in that area. But today I want my boo to talk about what he has learned in the 37, because I haven't been in this thing, by myself. We've been in this thing together. So I want him to talk about now some of the things that he's learned in 37 years.
Well, thank you for allowing me to be on your show this morning.
Thank you for being here.
Y'all can tell I'm dressed because I have other duties today, responsibilities.
He's got his stuff to do today.
But I did want to stop through and share. Last week I was listening, and some things I've learned in these 37 years. And one is, I got a new word, y'all. It's a new word. Preachers make up new words, especially African-American preachers. We know about obedience. We always talk about, wives, submit yourselves unto your husbands. But then it says submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God. So what I had to learn was not just, obey, but I also have to be willing, dual submission, submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God. Then it says wives, submit yourselves to the husband, is another layer of submission for the wife. It really has to be a crucial, hard, life-altering, marriage-altering move, because she's talking about moving up to, to the IE from LA up to, pretty far distance away from family and everybody. I had to learn not just obedience, but obedience. Lead, like a lead. Yeah, lead. So I'm a leader that knows how to listen to her and understand what she's saying and the dynamics of what she's saying, understand her fears, trepidations, other different things that she may have, but also she's not always fearful. Sometimes she's just careful. And sometimes Leon Woods, older gentleman that I love so dearly. He's well published and well written. He reminds me of my dad, but he said, trust your wife's gut.
Yes.
Trust your wife. And sometimes I really don't have it, though I'm a praying man. I fast, I pray. Sometimes I still don't get the answer, and God may have put it right here. And I'm like, hey, I'm too deep right now. I'm in thought. No, listen. Listen, Linda, listen. I always talk about that. But anyway, obedience, learning how to lead and obey at the same time, knowing the
Wow.
dualism of leading. And I'm going to use that term at our next leadership conference and marriage
Mhm.
retreats and all that good stuff, but
Mhm.
obedience. Then also the move to Marietta, because she said the children were resistant to move and they want to move back with
Mhm.
cousins, all kind of stuff. When our kids doing bad in school, she's doing bad on purpose, trying to go back. But also, co-pastor didn't want to move at the time. She didn't want to move either. And that's when I had to take the lead.
Yes.
So obedience, but also obedience. So here was the time to say, hey, babe, this is what we need to do. Come take a ride with me.
Yeah.
When she took the ride, she's like, oh, this is far. Oh my God, it's far. Oh. But when she was stepping that model home, she's like, ooh, this is nice.
Like,
This is,
yes, I could do this.
okay. And we made agreements even when we moved back out this
Yeah.
time. It was like, I'll do the driving. I'm an ex-truck driver. I love driving anyway. Driving relaxes me. Some people hate driving. I love driving. I do. So it's like, babe, I got you. I even drive you to
And
work.
I don't.
And I'll drop you off, go to my office, pick you up, we'll go back home. So I mean, we had to obedience. So obedient enough to say she doesn't like to drive, so let me drive for her, and then obedience enough to say this, we need to make this move because we get more bang for our buck. The house makes more sense, that kind of thing. I always said I want a house big enough to where if my children, God forbid, have to return home, we have space for them. If we have to separate inside the house, because I ain't going nowhere, and it's too cold to have a pop tent on a back porch, throw me a cord and let me stay warm. But anyway, that, and then also,
can I say something right here as you're talking about that, the move, and I will say my husband has kept to his word on the whole driving piece. I mean, there have been days where he really didn't have anything that he needed to do, but he still got up, got dressed, and drove me down to work. And then there are days that he has some things to do and he can't drive me in. But I use those days as opportunity to find my own space, to make space for myself, to have time to think, to have time to listen to podcasts, to talk to friends, or whatever the case may be. So we're making that work.
Amen. Thank you. Yes. And then also, she mentioned she was resistant to some of my mom's ways because my mom had five boys, and she basically was a homemaker, as they call them nowadays, domestic. She didn't have to work. My dad made plenty of money, trucker and a pastor. He made plenty of money. He's like, had them boys fed, a hair comb, 3 square meals a day. We had all that. And so Monday was this day and Tuesday was this day and Thursday was chicken and Friday was fish. I mean, she had those days regimented and she had her meals planned out. And when I tried to get my wife to do that, she was like very resistant. She even said that she was very resistant to it. And so after a while, I had to just back off and say, you know what? We're going to work where we are. Plus, at that time, we couldn't even afford everything because things got tight. Things got a little tight. So my brother even started calling her ground beef queen because my wife made ground beef, everything, whether it's hamburger helper, tacos, hamburgers, or whatever it was. But she made it work. I'm going to tell you, she made it work. I got some
big, long rolls of ground beef.
Baby, I got some good meals, around that house. And the children ate well. I mean, we ate well every day. But anyway, but what we did learn was that her parents had certain things they did that worked for them. My parents had certain things that worked for them. So we took a little from each, but not the whole loaf from both families. And as my godfather, Bishop John C. Calvin told me, you're going to learn do's and don'ts from your father. That was as it relates to ministry, but also in life. He said, William, one thing you're going to learn is do's and don'ts. I admire my dad. I mean, I look up to my dad. My dad to me was one of the biggest, strongest, and my wife says wisest man she ever met. And but he said, you're going to learn some do's and don'ts, even in pastoring. So there's some patterns I could not follow. Some things I could not repeat exactly how my dad did it. There's great virtue he has, great things that he has, but some things I could not just do just like him, or would have caused me to be off track with my destiny where God is leading me. Then last thing I want to say, I want to give the show back to you because it's your show. We can learn from our parents, but not lean on our parents. Learn from our parents, but not lean on our parents. One more time. Learn from our parents, but not lean on our parents. So we learn the do's and don'ts. Hey, love my parents. I don't want that part. Ooh, that's kind of scary. Not quite there, So we've had to find our own balance. I believe we have in this time. And we've been through, like she said, rough seasons. We had some rough seasons. We thought divorce was, it was going to happen, period.
Right, inevitable.
I mean, she burned rubber on the driveway a few mornings. She was gone. And I was like, oh, man. Whew. I mean, didn't get the kids together. No, I had to do all that. Get the kids together, get ready for school, make sure they brush their teeth, all that. It's
Make
like,
it work.
and that just wasn't her get down. But I knew
Yeah.
she was upset.
Yeah.
And she was really, really mad. And some of my stupid and buffoonery, some dumb things I did. But praise be to God. When we talked to a counselor, he said, it may take you 10 years. Are you willing to commit to the journey? I said, 10 years. Oof. We were young then. It's like 10 years. It's like forever. It ain't nothing. Now I just turned 60 in November. So 10 years, nothing, back when in my 30s, mid 30s or whatever. But anyway, God has blessed us. I'm going to give a show back to you. But I just want to talk about the obedience and learning, but not leaning on.
Yeah. Thank you. Those were really good things. The obedience. Wow. And when you said that, it resonated with me because you actually have done that. And I know it hasn't been easy because, we think about our parents, the example that they set, and then their generation marriage it looked a little different.
They operated different.
They operated differently in their marriages. The wife was quiet, she was subservient,
some didn't work, didn't drive, didn't even drive cars. Had to wait for the husband to get home.
Right.
To go grocery shopping.
Right. So you know what? We're going to come back to that obedience. We're going to go to a commercial right now. Okay, so we're back, and I just want to dig right into that obedience thing again. That is really you have to coin that. That's bomb right there.
Trademark it.
So being able to lead and to be obedient at the same time, that's deep. And I know that's not easy for some men, but we were talking about how our parents' generation, their marriages, they showed up just a bit different. Okay. Showed up just a bit different. Put it on a shirt. Okay. Let's put it on a shirt.
Yes.
Yeah. With the definition underneath it. And so, thinking about that, I remember sitting at the table with your parents one time. Your mom was serving your dad his dinner, lunch, or whatever it was. And, it was like he was sitting there and, your dad liked to have things a certain way and all that. And he was needing this. So he wanted hot sauce. Your mom ran and got it. Then he needed a napkin. Your mom ran and got it. He needed some other things. Your mom ran and got it. And so I'm sitting there as this young, new married, woman, and I'm like, and I said, well, Papa, you just couldn't reach over and get that napkin yourself. And he was like, baby, this is my marriage. I said, say less. You right. This is your marriage. You doing your thing. I didn't say all that, but I was thinking it. But I've learned over 37 years of marriage, that was the way she showed love to him, was by serving him.
And
That
she was raised like that.
she was raised like that, grew up to serve, to take care of. And so that's why she was such an awesome mother and wife. And so,
Can I say something about that real quickly?
go ahead.
Because she mentioned that, they were back in the cotton picking days, if you will, and worked the fields and that kind of thing. Even her parents had, produce on their farm, their farm acres. And they would make her go in the house. Go in the house, Helen. You ain't no good out here in the field. You ain't no good. But she go in there and whip up dinner, get it ready, have everything laid out by the time they came in. So she was raised, if you will, to be a domestic house, person that could really handle things inside the house well. So, and my dad, that's what he wanted. That's what he liked, and they were a good match for each other. She didn't mind. I mean, but I know a lot of, people watching like, she, but my dad worked 16, 17 hours a day too, a lot of times. And he provided, my mom didn't go lacking. She drove what she wanted to drove what she wanted to drive, nails done, hair done. So she got her part too. With things she wanted, she got to.
It worked for both of them. It really did. Now I want to jump into the last thing that we're going to talk about, because Boo's got to go. He's got his business to take care of today. As like he said, he's wearing his collar because he's taking care of business today as a pastor, bishop, preacher. So the last thing I want to dig into,
and your husband
and my husband being a provider. So the last thing I want to dig into, which is a very serious situation or a topic to talk about as it relates to relationships, and not just marriages. Okay, this works for all relationships. That's right. Okay, we're gonna talk about another F word. The F bomb. Now you think
dropping the F bomb?
You think the other ones were the F bomb? No, boo. This is the F bomb right here.
Wow.
You know what it is? Forgiveness. I'm just gonna sit back and let you think about that for a minute. Forgiveness.
Sit in it, beloved.
Forgiveness. So let me just take a look at you. I want to look you in the eye. Forgiveness is necessary. Forgiveness is necessary. I mean, it you have to, if you're going to remain in relationships, you have to learn how to forgive.
That's right.
And you have to learn how to be forgiven. Because sometimes we may do things in our relationship. We may do things in our relationships that cause us to feel like we don't deserve forgiveness.
True.
True. And if we feel like we don't deserve forgiveness, then we'll be resistant to the behavior that our mate, our loved one, demonstrates toward us, trying to show us that we are forgiven, because we'll feel like we just don't deserve it. So we'll be resistant to it, which will cause more problems in the relationship.
True.
Because after I'm trying to forgive, I'm trying to show you that I forgive, but you resistant, that kind of sometimes shows up like you being cocky, or like, you don't think you've done anything wrong, but really a person is really feeling like, I don't deserve this. So, I'm just going to keep that person. I'm going to build up this wall. But forgiveness is necessary, and it is essential to a relationship, a marriage. We have both had to learn how to forgive each other for various reasons. And forgiveness is not something that comes over you. It's like a dream you had, and you laid down one night and you got up and you just had this feeling that was overwhelmingly present, and you just, I forgive you. I've never had to forgive. I never experienced forgiveness like that. Forgiveness is a decision.
Wow.
You make a decision.
Wow.
You know what? I'm going to forgive that person. I'm going to forgive them. Now, does that mean you forget everything that happened? No. You don't forget that stuff, because you're human. Your brain was designed hopefully not to forget. And sometimes when we have had traumas in our life and we do forget, that's not good, because that means it's hiding somewhere in our body, and it may come up, it may come out, or we may do things, that demonstrate that trauma that we've experienced, and it may not be in a oh so healthy way. So forgiveness is essential, it's necessary, it's biblical. You know, we are Christians. We are Christians. Maybe not everyone watching this live is a Christian, but forgiveness is just good for your own body. It helps you to release, you know, all of the pent up frustration and hatred and all the things that may hide inside of you when you are unforgiving toward a person. Okay. And it's not so much for that person, honestly. It really is for you so that you can be free of whatever that thing is you've been.
And can I just say
Yeah,
that I think
please.
forgiveness you said, because I don't know what you are. You may be Christian, maybe not. I don't know of any religion, if you will, that does not teach forgiveness. If it doesn't, I don't want no part of it. But I mean, I have some friends that are Muslim, it teaches forgiveness. Some friends that are Buddhist, forgiveness. I mean, I got friends that are not exactly what I am. So, oh no, Bishop, you're not supposed to be around then. Well, Martin Luther King learned from a Hindu by the name of Gandhi, the nonviolence. So I believe we had to open our minds to understand what other people may think, or even where they are, and meet them where they are, that kind of thing. So forgiveness is a universal thing, and we have to move in forgiveness, because even Jesus forgive them, for they know not what they do. While he's being crucified, while he's being killed, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Man, you talking about what a man, what a mighty good man. I mean, who could be in excruciating pain and say, forgive them? Come on, y'all. Whatever we going through is not worse than the crucifixion. Trust and believe me.
Right.
Amen.
I think sometimes, who I think of, and I think Jesus, and that was the ultimate, forgiveness right there. But I think about moms, us as mothers, because, first of all, we make the ultimate sacrifice of giving birth to a child. This child comes out, and sometimes the child becomes disrespectful, just a lot of different things. And maybe it's very hurtful to you as a mom. And maybe I don't know who I'm helping right up and through here, but maybe it's very hurtful to you as a mom. Your child has said some things, done some things, become some things that are, just taking you out because you have not raised your child to be that way. But it's something about a mama, a real true mama, that she can dig deep past all the hurt, all the mean words, all the ugliness that she may receive from her child, and have a heart of forgiveness for that child. Or that child comes back home, like the prodigal son comes back home, and the mama will be standing there with arms wide open because she loves her child. And I think about being able to forgive somebody in that capacity, that you have to have a great love for that person to really be able to forgive them on that level.
And children do it too.
And children do it too.
Like, exactly. I want to be with my mom, and mom that
messed up, doing things, left them here, living on the street, all of that. And the child, no matter what, when it comes time for visitation, that child is excited to see their parent. So forgiveness is not just for relationships that are husband, wife, or romantic, but forgiveness is for all types of relationships. Okay. Parents, children, siblings, and I think that's probably one of the harder types of forgiveness to deal with too, is sibling rivalry. That thing runs deep. So sibling rivalry runs deep, and we're going to do a show on that too coming up. But sibling rivalry is something, we have to get past. And let me say this about forgiveness before we end, because we're just about done. One thing I have learned about forgiveness, like I said, one thing is for me, because I needed to release me. I need to make me okay and not be harboring and holding on to just junk and hatred and, pain and all that. But forgiveness, wow. Forgiveness also is a way to show and demonstrate love to people who are unlovable.
Wow.
and people who may not receive your love, your forgiveness toward them. But you have to do it anyway. You have to do it anyway. So I want to kind of bring it to a close. I want you to know that being in a relationship for 37 plus years is not the easiest thing to do. It is not. Sometimes we look back on some of the things that we've been through and all the hard times. We've had repossessions. We've had our, cars, homes. There have been times we didn't have a whole lot of food. I remember feeding my kids. People say this, and you think it's a joke. We ate beans and weenies. Hot dogs cut up with some nice pork and beans. Man, we had tuna casserole. We had ground beef, everything. Turkey. What's that? Turkey who? No steak, no pork chops. Ground beef, because I could get that big long roll for about $10 and feed my family for days. So all the things that we've been through, all the things we've experienced has brought us, Kim and William, to this point where we are today. I just wanted to share a couple pictures with you guys to let you see. So
can I say something about forgiveness real quick? To forgive is to set the prisoner free and discover that the prisoner was you.
Yeah, the prisoner.
Boom.
Boom. Mic drop. But check this out. 37 years ago. Oh, look at that. Isn't that a shame?
Give me the slim back, Lord.
Hey, look at that. Just as cute. Yes, 37 years ago. We still here. And this is what 37 years produced.
It's my 60th birthday party there.
Yes. This is what 37 years produced. And this is us. This is us now. So we've gone from 37, I was 20, he was 22 when we got married. And now I'm 58, he's 60, and we're still here. We're still making life work. We're still doing what we need to do. We're still working on us. We're still working on our relationship. We're no longer raising our children because they're all adults now, but we are giving guidance. We're giving guidance to our children, and just waiting for a boatload of grands to spoil them and have a fun life.
Right.
So thank you, Boo. Thank you for being here with me.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your wisdom and all your kind words and the wonderful things that you have to add to this show. So until next time, when we get back together, you guys stay safe and please take care.